Nowadays, some people level things and restore them for reuse.
How do you and your family spend time in this space? It's like a whole Narnia in here.
Hello.
Hello. This is Gong. He lives in this apartment. Gong, could you tell us who lives here with you?
There are 3 of us living here, my wife, our son, and me.
When you were designing this apartment, did you already have a child, or was the baby born after you finished it?
Yes, currently our son is 7 years old and attends the school on the 1st floor.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what your family does?
I work in the finance sector.
How many square meters is this place?
The area is approximately 100 square meters.
What's the layout like here? What kinds of rooms are in the apartment?
3 rooms, a master bedroom, a child's room, and a study combined with a storage room.
Pretty much all the standalone pieces here were bought at flea markets. For example, this car, this table, all the chairs, this little dresser, even the bed, the armchair, and this side table, they're all vintage. We actually went around different flea markets, picking out some chairs and everything else so it would fit the style. But how the place got this mid-century vibe. Tell us about your living room. What usually happens here? How do you and your family spend time in this space?
This is the dining table. We usually eat here. This table has one advantage. It can be extended from both sides to make it larger. In the living room area, we spend a lot of time on this sofa. It can be unfolded and turned into a bed. In front of the sofa is this convenient coffee table made of stone.
Do you often have guests over at your place?
For example, last week we had 9 adults and 5 children as guests.
Oh wow, how did you fit everyone in?
We extended the table. The children mainly played near the sofa in that area, and all the adults managed to fit around this table.
What do you usually do when guests come over?
We bake meat in the oven or fry steaks. We sit at the table, chat, we might have some wine and play table games.
I see you've got a piano here. Do you play yourself or does someone in your family play?
My child can play the piano, but unfortunately, I can't. I really love listening to music, so I have a very good acoustic system. Not every home has something like this. I also really love listening to music on vinyl. In the living room, what I like most is sitting on the sofa and listening to music. After that, I can take a break for lunch. In the kitchen area, it's very convenient and pleasant to cook. First of all, there's a very large window with lots of natural light. It's very pleasant to cook when light streams in from the window. Also, my son's school is downstairs, and while I'm cooking, I can sometimes see him right out of the window. These 2 factors really lift my spirits, and cooking only brings pleasant emotions. I also wanted to make a bar counter here, but space limitations didn't allow this idea to be realized. However, we have an open kitchen illuminated by a lot of natural light. In such conditions, it's better for socializing and cooking. It makes us happier. If I were to talk about what I like in the kitchen, I'd start with the touch faucet. There's also a large sink, convenient for washing produce. The items on this board are all magnetic. It's incredibly convenient. These boxes store everything you might need while cooking or cleaning the kitchen close at hand. And they always easily snap magnetically back into place, preventing clutter. Here we have a large spacious dishwasher. This also is an important thing in the kitchen that makes me happier. In the corner, there's a convenient pull-out shelf with a rice cooker. When needed, you can pull it out, cook, and put it back. This way, it's tucked away most of the time and doesn't clutter the space. It's also convenient that the blinds are built into the double-glazed window. You can easily adjust their position, but they never get dirty or get in the way.
What's that device you've got there?
This is a drinking water faucet. It comes from the filter under the sink, and you can simply hold a glass under it for clean water.
Where are the power outlets here? I don't see any in the kitchen.
The sockets are hidden in this cabinet. They're also behind this magnetic board.
What material is the countertop made of?
This is Italian marble. It has a fairly rough texture. Its advantage is that it's easy to clean.
This is a cool, unique kitchen. On one side is completely. You've got an amazing window with a beautiful view. On the other side, there is a wall with a built-in storage. Can you tell us what's on that wall? What's inside those closed cabinets? How does the storage work there?
This is a pantry for food that doesn't necessarily need refrigeration. And here's the refrigerator. It has very convenient ergonomics. And this is a large oven. We usually bake bread with beef and lamb in it. This is a special heated shelf to keep the dishes warm. In this cabinet, we have our robot vacuum. It's quite large. This is a microwave oven, a toaster, and my favorite coffee machine. I often drink coffee. A very convenient solution in this spot is this pull-out coffee table, where you can place a cup, a pack of coffee, or something else to free up your hands.
Tell me about this beautiful chandelier. Did you have it custom-made, or was it something you bought ready-made?
This lamp was created by a very famous designer in China. You can adjust the brightness with a special remote.
Can you tell us about the storage system? It looks like you've got lots of open storage throughout the apartment. But do you also have any hidden storage areas? Like a place where you hang jackets or keep your winter clothes?
You can hang things here, like hats or bags, as you can see. Quite a lot of hooks. You can hang an umbrella, keys, or something else. You can sit here to put on your shoes. It's also a shoe storage area. On this side, there are also cabinets mostly storing shoes as well. We have a lot of shoes.
Oh wow, no way. I thought it was just a round corner. But turns out you've got a whole section of umbrellas, shoes and extras.
Shoes are here too. And at the bottom is a storage spot for umbrellas.
Where do you keep your winter clothes?
Winter clothes are stored in a separate walk-in closet.
You just plug it in. You can't really stick your finger in there, so it's pretty safe. You insert how many outlets you need, like a USB outlet, a Chinese plug, or European one. You can install any type you want on this rail system to keep everything tidy and wire-free. There are cable channels installed here. If you come closer and take a look, you'll see the outlets are hidden and all the devices are stored inside this cabinet. The cables from the equipment run through here. They connect to the TV and power the speakers. And of course, what would a creative apartment like this be without a real musical instrument? This piano is just like the one my grandmother used to have, except it's a Yamaha. Voila! Here's the living room, and right over here we've got a small wash basin. You know what it's for? It's so you can quickly wash your hands. Since the toilet is right nearby, it helps keep the space more functional and efficient. See, when you walk into the toilet, there is no sink inside, just a spacious shower area. You use the bathroom, step out, wash your hands and head straight to the living room. Super convenient. And the cool thing is one wash basin can work for both toilets since there is a second one right here. And of course, there's a smart toilet in the bathroom. It feels like an almost every Chinese home, no matter the income level. There is always a toilet that plugs into the wall. There is always an outlet nearby with a cord running from the toilet. It's also connected to the water supply because it has a built-in bidet system inside. So you go wash your hands over here and straight back to the living room. It really helps optimize the space. Guys, look, at first thought those were actual stones, but it turns out it's just a rock. It looks like a pile of pebbles from a distance. I really like how the standalone pieces are arranged here. For example, the washer and dryer are freestanding units. Looks great and super practical. They're built into a special niche, and since they're black against a white background, they really pop, almost like a painting or a bold accent piece. So what do you think? That's kind of the approach here. There are actually quite a few standalone items arranged this way. What was the apartment like before the renovation? Was it a new building or an older unit? Did you change the layout or keep it as it was?
We made some changes. Previously, the kitchen was separate. Now we moved the kitchen in here. We also added another toilet because having two is much more convenient. The other changes weren't very significant.
I have an interesting question. In some countries, you're not allowed to move the kitchen or turn a living space into a kitchen. Are there any restrictions like that here? Is it allowed to make a kitchen where a regular room used to be?
Yes, such changes need to be included in the design project and approved by a special organization. If permission is granted, then the layout can be altered.
Do you have any pets at home?
No, we don't have pets. Just 2 robot vacuums.
What was the ceiling height before and what is it now?
To be honest, I don't remember well, but I think it was about 3 meters.
Did you live in this apartment before or did you buy it and renovate everything right away?
No, we bought this apartment and immediately started renovating it. This building is quite old and it wasn't very convenient to live here before.
Why did you choose this location and this neighborhood?
Because the best primary school in Shenzhen is downstairs, and it's very convenient to get to. My child gets to school in 5 minutes.
Is there parking in the building?
There is parking here, but it's quite limited because it's an old district of Shenzhen, and in the evenings there are often no spaces. The proximity to the school also creates additional pressure on parking. It quite often happens that there aren't enough parking spaces in the evening.
I saw there is an open parking area under the building. Can anyone use it or is it just for residents?
During the day, anyone can park there, but only residents can leave their cars overnight.
Does this building have a management company? How do you interact with them? Are there any issues or things worth mentioning about how they operate?
The management is not bad, but it has some inherent drawbacks. Since the building is old, there's no underground parking, and in the evening, you sometimes have to get quite stressed looking for a place to park.
Do you know what year the building was originally built?
I think it's about 40 years old.
Got it. The building is close to a school. What are some other benefits of living in an older building?
Since this district is old, it has an established infrastructure, and everything is convenient in terms of shopping and services. New districts require time to develop this kind of environment. Actually, we're mainly here because of the school. If I didn't have a child, I wouldn't buy an apartment in such an old district and such an old building. This is our bedroom. It was made smaller to create the child's room next door. Here are some of my favorite things. I love various lamps, including this camping lamp. Also, there are sockets and a lighting control switch by the bed. And in this corner, there is a very convenient fold-out desk. I can use it if I plan to work in the bedroom. It folds easily like this, but if it's unfolded, very little space remains. So most often it's put away since it's too small. And since you won't constantly be working or reading sitting at a desk in the bedroom, nevertheless, it's a very functional solution. I like warm tones, and they also suit the bedroom well. So everything here is done in such warm tones with a lot of wood. I like the color of wood. In the bedroom, we mainly just sleep. So there's a minimum of items. There's a wooden hanger like this. You can hang some clothes or a bag, and also a wardrobe for clothes. It has 2 sections, one for my wife and one for me. This is the child's bedroom. Right by the entrance is a wardrobe for clothes, and here is a bunk bed. My son sometimes sleeps on top, sometimes on the bottom, as he prefers. Here's a study desk. My child loves to read, so there's a very comfortable, specially designed chair and this convenient, spacious bookshelf. Previously, there was a balcony here. This one room with a balcony, we made it into 2 rooms, our bedroom and the child's room. And we combined the child's room with the balcony, organizing a convenient space for studying and reading in this part of the room.
Can you tell us what this room is and how you usually spend time here?
This is my study, where I work or just spend time on hobbies. Things valuable to me are also stored here, like my vinyl collection. I also collect various cameras, which are also kept in this room.
So this is like your personal recharge spot.
I suppose that's true. Everything here is done exactly as I need it, and I feel maximally comfortable in this space. I can spend most of the day here, but I can also be here in the evening or even at night.
Why do you have two chairs here? Do you both work here sometimes?
Yes, two people can work here. Sometimes my wife can work alongside me and we won't disturb each other sitting at the same table. Or even one person can change their spot depending on the task or desires. In this section are my record players, records and cameras. There's also a drinks refrigerator here, which is convenient. I like listening to music here. This is a vintage model of a British record player.
I see you've got some small figurines here. Did you purposely put them in a box to keep the space from feeling cluttered?
Yes, my wife collects small figurines of cartoon characters, and they stand in these containers. Look, one of them fell over. Let me help him stand up. There you go, buddy. Now everything is as it should be.
I really like how the space is organized. You've got lots of small items, souvenirs from a favorite trip, little figurines you collect, and instead of having items scattered around, they're all neatly arranged in this cool little box.
This is a modular shelving unit. We store books on it. But there are also pull-out drawers where various things are stored. Behind the shelving unit is a walk-in closet, storing winter and other clothes.
How do you keep track of where everything is in this big storage system?
No, this drawer is for everything that doesn't have its own place. Otherwise, as I said, it's a modular shelving unit, and all these sections can be hung as desired.
It's like a whole Narnia in here. Another apartment hidden away. See, this is basically a whole football field. You could do yoga here, play around, exercise, and just enjoy the beautiful view from the window. You see, this office is basically in a separate little house sitting right on the rooftop. It's honestly such an incredible and unique feature. It's a very bright space, but since the sun here is super intense, they added blinds and also frosted the windows a bit. That way the light gets softened without blocking the whole room. What's interesting is that their air conditioner system isn't built in. It's a standalone unit, but it doesn't stick out because it blends into the white wall. Plus the interior is designed with lots of small details. So the IC just kind of disappears among them. The storage system here is also really well thought out. See the desk, the shelf and the drawers, they're all mounted on this rail. And the cool thing is you can mix and match different elements, like you have one roll shelf, then add a set, even a third, however you want to set it up. If you ever need some extra, like most, you can just add another little shelf. And here, for example, you can this small organizer attached to the shelf. They help things neat too. So this is a little hub where the chargers pull out from. They just slide right out and you can use them to charge your devices. Super convenient and compact. And the hub itself, see how the cables are managed. Instead of laying around and making a mess, they're neatly tied to this metal part with clips. Keep everything tidy. And the coolest part, the home office is connected to a big walk-in closet. See how each pair of shoes is stored in its own little box. That's because the humidity here is really high, so everything needs extra protection. Same reason here. People store a lot of things in boxes, and inside those boxes they put moisture absorbers, so the items don't get damp. And of course, there are also things for everyday use. Like here, for example, they keep their winter stuff in these, the ones they use daily. It's all tucked away right here. And then over there is a little floor cushion you can sit on. You can just toss them around like say your kid comes running into a play while you're walking. They can sit here on the floor and play while you're doing your thing or showing something on the screen. Guys, this cushion can actually stack inside each other. Just put one on top of the other. They take up less space that way, and you can also make a higher seat if you want. Guys, this is Fu. Fu is the interior designer who worked on this space. He's going to tell us a bit about how he designed it.
This apartment was purchased by the client so their child could comfortably attend school. However, this building is quite old and the apartment area isn't that large. Therefore, we needed to consider these factors when creating the design and try to create the most comfortable living conditions for this family. Equally important, we wanted to account for and seamlessly integrate the interests and hobbies of the home's inhabitants.
What challenges did you face while working on this apartment?
As I mentioned, this building was constructed long ago, so the ceilings are quite low. Originally, their height was about 2.7 meters, but considering we installed ventilation, leveled the ceilings, and ran lighting wiring above them, the final ceiling height ended up being about 2.5 meters, which is quite low by modern standards.
Were there any structural elements like beams that you had to work around? I can see there's a beam here that looks like it had to be integrated into the design.
This building was designed as one of the first high-rises in Shenzhen, and to increase structural strength, there are beams positioned quite low. They complicate the design process immensely and cannot be removed for safety reasons. But we tried to create the project in such a way as to hide or somehow utilize these beams as much as possible. This way, they aren't glaringly obvious when you enter the apartment. See, right above us are these beams, and all of this had to be considered in the final project so that, for example, the shape of the wall and the shape of the ceiling were as harmonious as possible and fit into the space.
What changes did you make to the original floor plan?
Firstly, we combined the kitchen and living room. This improved natural light access into the room, and this solution benefits relationships of the residents. No one is isolated in a separate kitchen. Everyone can communicate on equal terms. Then we allocate the room with the best light to the child because we place great importance on children and their daily lives. And the parents might sleep in a relatively simpler and tighter space.
What was the design concept for this project and what inspired you?
I would say we were inspired along the way while working on the project. Initially, we solved specific tasks and requirements from the client, and inspiration comes during the process. For example, when we combined the kitchen and living room, we did it and saw how much brighter the space became. This in turn inspired us towards new ideas and solutions, but in our approach, client feedback is extremely important, discussing every detail.
Can you tell us about the interior design trends you use here?
Nowadays, some people level things and restore them for reuse. In my opinion, this is also good because it's eco-friendly and long-term use. And now we don't consider old things ugly and new things beautiful. Most of the furniture in this room is old. The sofa, this coffee table, all the chairs, the table, all these items were bought by the client at flea markets, restored, and then we used them in this interior.
Honestly, I was really impressed. You've got beautifully restored vintage furniture here. Lots of smart storage solution and so many interesting and practical details. I found this interior super inspiring. Thank you so much.